Yo, what's up, guys? Been a minute since I talked to you. Sorry I haven't been posting. Been a while since I posted, actually. You guys might be a couple years behind in my life at this point, with only a few clips of this van right here, which is pretty much an Astro that I made into a motorhome with just like a throw together, no build going on. Okay, so my current situation is kind of screwed up. I was in Ohio, went to visit some family, mainly my dad. Selling my house, move out. I move my stuff, my bus, everything to Philadelphia. The bus gets the windows broke out twice. My life got all screwed up. Somebody threatened my kid. I tried to fight him. I ended up in jail. That was 3 months of where I disappeared. All kinds of crazy stuff happened. Threats on my child. Some yelled by neighbors. Over by my dad. It's been crazy. Some really wild things going on. I can't really explain in the video exactly. But what ends up happening after months of living with him, he decides one day, stay with my dad for a few months. I'm going to move from my house in Ohio and to a shop. You guys were watching me work on my bus at a old school building that I had purchased at a tax auction. There's some videos on that if you want to go back. And that's mostly where the bus build is. When I got to Philadelphia, I decided to do this thing with this van because it was somewhat cheap and quick and easy. If I just threw it together, I got like $200-300 into throwing all this stuff together. And there's a few videos on it. But basically what ends up happening is while I'm living with my father, he's unhappy that I'm not giving him money. I try to give him money. He won't take the money. Then like some of the time he's in a mood where he wants people out. He wants people to stay. He wants people to go. He wants people to stay. He wants people to go. You start to move. He doesn't want you to move. You tell him you're going to go to Ohio. He feels abandoned. It's really crazy. It's like if I left, he was mad. If I stayed, he was mad. If I didn't move, he was mad. If I did try to move, he was mad. And then in between, he's got these moments where he's totally fine. And we get along great. He loves me. He buys pizza. He gets chicken, cheese, steaks. Everything seems okay. We're talking about, I was talking about getting some little $300 12-foot sailboat, rowboat. And he wanted to go together and take it out there. There's a river up there. I'm in Philadelphia. This is Neshaminy State Park. Anyway, so a lot of times this is totally normal, but he's mad at me all the time for things I can't explain. And then, like I said, he won't take my money. And then he's mad I haven't given him money at other times. So where I'm at right now is I'm just hanging out, killing time. I have a court date now. What ended up happening is a little trick people pull called an illegal eviction. This is where you want somebody to leave right away. So instead of doing your job, he works for a realtor evicting people. He knows the legal way to do it. Instead of filing a 72-hour notice like I've done to multiple people that probably follow my channel that have rented from me, file a 72-hour notice. They don't leave, you take them to court in 30 days. If the court tells them they have more time, it might take you 90 days to get rid of them. If COVID's going on, it might take you a year and a half. That's legal. That's how that works. And when people are like, one day I want you here, the next day I want you gone, one day I want you here, the next day I want you gone, it kind of sucks when you got like 1,000 square foot of rubber roofing, boat motors, welders, rims and tire sets. Almost $10,000 worth of stuff went to his house, and I left about $6,000 worth of shit in my bus. I was going to leave it all in my bus. But the bus got broken into twice. $600 worth of windshields, dude. They graffitied the whole thing up. I had those windows replaced, right? I took it, put it in a different storage place. The fucking windows got broken out again. Welcome to Philadelphia. And actually, one of that was Bucks County, and which is called a nice area. Anyway. Got sidetracked. The point was, I got illegally evicted. So right now, He thinks it's funny that I'm an aimless wanderer and I wanted to go on trips in my van. Now I'm a homeless guy in my van, probably. And I don't know. I think he thinks it's funny. He illegally evicted me. Just locks the door. Comes home, walks around me, locks the door. Locks my keys in, locks my wallet in, won't let me get shit. Then he starts arguing and getting pushy. Then he starts telling you can come in, and then when you get in the doorway, he wants to wrestle and push you. And then when you push past him, he wants to act like you did something wrong by just being like, come on, man. Get off me. And walking in the house. And, you know, there was many times I just left. Just be like, all right, I'll be back. We'll talk later. So the one day in about March of 2023, he comes at me shouting in my face, screaming at me about some old stuff of an argument with my mother from like 25 years ago, which should be like way old stuff, way old stuff. Starts screaming at me about it, starts telling me to get out, spits in my face, starts all jumping in my face. I get a little mad, shout once or twice back, and I'm like, he's one of those dudes that will say something to you that pisses you off, like, yeah, the other day I did this. Then 3 seconds later, I didn't say that. You're lying. And it becomes a trigger, like, what the? No, you just lied to my face, man. And it makes that, you know, like picture I said, well, I just talked to John last week. And he said, and then you go, John said what? And then you go, then I go, I never said I talked to John. Who's John? You're going to snap. Because I just bullshitted the fuck out of your face. You're going to get, what? It's natural. What isn't natural is to go end up being violent. And I didn't. I was actually pretty cool about it. So I go downtown, file a restraining order on him. And then I got too much of a heart, dude. I couldn't serve it. All I needed to do was serve the restraining order and start moving my property. But I didn't serve him. And I explained to him, I was like, look, all I did was go explain how you got a little pushy in my face and they gave me a restraining order. All I had to do is serve you. And I could have had you kicked out of your own house if I pushed it that far. But I didn't. I even had them leave you in the same house if I do serve it. Meaning we could have been in the same house under restraining order, which is like actually kind of wild. But they do that. They will do that. I didn't serve it. Now it's 4 months later. I was trying to leave in April at the absolute latest, the end of March, April. Stay, go, don't go, hates you, hates you, loves you. Back and forth. I don't know what his deal is. And then one night I come home and it's, today's the day, you gotta go. Right now, at 10 o'clock at night. So after a bunch of arguing, he ends up calling the police. I end up freaking out and yelling out the window, screaming some obscenities at the police and some other things I'm not really too proud of, but it didn't really get too out of hand. I only screamed a bunch, and it basically gave him, he spent about a week before that telling me that he would wait for me to argue and get loud with one of his neighbors or him and get my ass 302'd for being crazy. 302 in Philadelphia means they take you against your will to a hospital for a mental evaluation. You can be there for a week to a month, up to 2 years maximum. And this is how he decides to evict somebody. This is how he decides to do it. He 302'd me. And then while I was 302'd, he stole my van. Okay? Stole my van. Bang. Documents. Stolen report. Progressive RV insurance, because it's a fucking motorhome. I just called Progressive and reported him. So while I'm 302'd under some bullshit, which is basically me freaking out from his, you know what I mean? I got some depression. I got some anxiety. I got a lot of overthinking going on. I've got what they call invasive thoughts, where you think about shit that's screwed up and you stress stuff that hasn't even happened. But in real life, I'm a pretty cool dude. I really am. You know, I'm not perfect. And actually, that little trip actually helped me break out of my shell a little bit. The counselors were doing things where you're like having these groups and it's like a trivia and you're playing along, and it actually gets you engaged with the group and snaps you out of being all feeling down about these kind of problems. But, you know, things like this happen and people get like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And you become all withdrawn from the world. It really fucks your head up. Excuse my language. That's not advertiser friendly. One of my favorite lines. Anyway. Oh God, no advertisers, by the way. Anyway. So here I am. While I'm 302, steals the van. Files a restraining order against me. Goes to the same judge. And you know what this motherfucker puts? Excuse my language again. But he tries to say that I threatened to kill him. Okay, and then after getting arrested because somebody threatened my child and almost killing them for threatening my child, yes, I fucking said it on video. They threatened my child and I damn near killed the motherfucker. I don't know if his arm will ever be right again. Then this motherfucker files on the restraining order that I threatened to kill him. And I threatened my child. I've seen my child 3 times. From 2 to 4 years old. In front of her mother. Never left unsupervised for 2 fucking seconds. I called my daughter to ask her if I ever did anything weird or tried to harm her. That's how fucked up they had my head. I didn't know where she was. They wouldn't give me phone numbers. They won't let me see her. Then, I thought I was tripping. That people were saying that she was dead. Or they were going to kill her. Again. I think it was just me overthinking the whole thing and kind of, you know what I mean? You'll overthink something and it kind of becomes a thought in the back of your mind. You wonder if somebody else is telling it, but it's just your own stupid thought. And it becomes the beginning of some other symptoms that are really bad. This son of a bitch put on there that I threatened her. Then when I get back to my van, after recovering it stolen, you know what the fuck is in it? This motherfucker left a little girl's jacket in my van. And thrashed the whole interior and threw everything around. Rallied it, broke the exhaust all off, made my suspension sloppy as fuck. It's bogging, it's hesitating, which he was doing a hair. Maybe it's just worse because the exhaust. The suspension's more sloppy, the alignment's a little bit off. He threw a bunch of shit everywhere. He had to get a bunch of, like, you know what I mean? He got sawdust and shit in my carpet. Wouldn't bother me that much if he had asked me to use it. Then he does like this. Yo, throws the dustpan and brush away. Okay, so the hospital releases me after an evaluation saying I'm really not that bad. I'm just a stressed out dude with some issues. And I should maybe get some counseling, you know. So they released me with instructions saying that I'm going back to his house to pick up my property and move to my new shop in Ohio. Check, you guys got to see this. If I survive this, you got to come see me. I got a 10,000 square foot shop in Ohio on a half acre. And that's where I was going. That's what I was moving to. I sold my house to get into a building that I could build more vehicles like this. You know, I was going to take the bus back there. I was going to have some people show up and I was going to, you know, I was going to continue building my bus and building my tiny homes and working on cars and my other little projects and get the shop leased to some people. I got people interested in leasing almost $2,000 a month worth of space and still leaving me like 3,000 square foot of space. But anyway, that's all besides the subject. I get a little sidetracked right there at the point where I got out. My instructions were to go home on paper, get my stuff and leave. They called my father. I called my father. For days when I called him, he would yell at me, tell me I'm never getting my stuff, it's not happening, blah, 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 blah. Then towards the end, the one phone call, he starts being nice and it's like, oh yeah, no problem. I don't want to take your things. I don't want to screw your life up. I just want you to move out of my house. Don't worry about it. Nothing bad will happen. Just come get your stuff. Counselor goes to release me. Calls him on the phone. He says nothing about a restraining order. Nothing about I can't come back there. Matter of fact, he tells her it's all good. Meanwhile, as I'm being released at 11 o'clock in the morning, he went to court at 9 o'clock in the morning the same day without me showing up for court to be able to argue the restraining order. Now that court date's moved for a month out. I can't get my clothes. The police gave me this pants. Thank you, police. You know how weird that is for me to say? I've had some bad situations, man. Thank you for the pants. So he tells them everything's going to be all good. Meanwhile, he already had a restraining order filed from back in on the 12th of June, the day he put me in. The 12th of June is when he put me in. The 22nd of June or 20th of June is when I get out, something like that. So he's talking to her 10 days after he filed a restraining order saying that I supposedly threatened to kill him and harm my child. All bullshit. And he said that right then when he got rid of me, when he had me 302. And 10 days later when I'm getting released, he's not telling this to the people. And check it out, 10 days. That's the minimum hold time. I got out. Not 20, not 2 years, not committed for life. I was out in 10 days. He's telling the counselor, it's okay. It's all good. Then when I leave and I go there, he's like, sure, come on in. Unlocks the door. Then he starts saying, if you go in, I'm calling the cops. Every time you come here, I'm calling the cops. You're not getting your shit. I don't want to steal your shit. You're not getting your shit. You can't come in. Just go in and get it. Then when I walk in the basement door, I go to the top of the stairs to go into the second floor of the house. That door is locked. He's coming in behind me. So I walked down and went around him and ran back out the door. Because he just lied to my face 4 or 5 times and got shady. I'm going to call the police, get your stuff, don't get your stuff, I'm going to take your stuff, I'm not going to take your stuff. He's all over the place. It's a handful of bullshit lies and it feels like a setup. I walk in, the basement is locked and he's coming in behind me. So instantly mine goes, oh, now he's trying to play something happened, no witnesses. This isn't a psychosis. These are the games this man has played since 1985, dude. He played this kind of shit with my mom when I was a child. And I supposedly forgave him and I shut my damn mouth. And I stopped putting him in on blast. And I forgave him for all his old bullshit, but he's doing the same shit, dude. Like he was so evil about it. I'm like, Dad, I don't know what you want from me. Just give me a hug. Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. Me trying to imitate him. You know how bad that feels? Won't let me in. Tries to set me up. So I go to walk away. You know what he does? The cops show up and serve me a restraining order. Now, legally you're supposed to get a 20. I'm sorry. Forgive me, police, but I don't give a shit right about now. This is what happened. You're supposed to get a 20-minute move in or move out. I didn't get a move out at all. I was told to leave. I went to the police station to report this van. They didn't want to really take it. I don't even know what's on this report. Honestly, I haven't seen it. Hopefully it's a report from my van being stolen. See how sketched out I get? Dude, they didn't even let me get a move out. Call back, you can't get a 20-minute move out. I have, you know those paper boxes, like Dunder Mifflin paper boxes? I have 4 of those full of files, real estate files. Grace can back me up. I've been a good guy selling her a house. The guy, Jay Lon, I sold my house. I've been a good dude to that dude. And then there's all these other people that I've worked with, and I've done a lot of transactions that have made me a little bit of a on-the-side real estate career. And he's been really mad about it. It's kind of like back in the day when I was going to get a CDL or an ASC certification, he would act happy about it, but then seem to do things to defeat me. And you wonder if people secretly plot, you know? You know, especially when it's somebody that told you when you're a child, look, screw it, YouTube. The man was on drugs for 30 years and was selling my mom's ass. He was her pimp. Now you know the truth. That's who he really was. And I wasn't going to tell nobody. But he's doing the same fucking shit. The same shit he did back then. When I would tell him about the problems I had in my head from the abuse that they put me through, he would turn around and blame it and say, you know what? You're just a piece of shit who's never going to be nobody and is going to spend your life in prison. You're a nobody. You'll never be shit. And every time you start to accomplish things, it's almost like, well, if he does, then makes me think maybe he thinks then it's my fault for doing this. And it can't be my fault. I have to be right that he's just massively fucked up. So if I destroy him to where he doesn't have shit, I'm right. I put him back in jail. He's a loser. He doesn't have shit. He'll never be nobody. I left this place for 10 years and went from zero, well, no, about $5,000 to about $100,000. 4 or 5 properties. I came back, I went to prison and lost everything except for like $4,000 worth of shit. Oh, and I managed to sell my house for 10 grand, 14 grand to Jay Lon. Thanks. Gave him a great deal. And I rebuilt it. I turned that into the property that I sold Grace. I bought a property that was $2,500. I was into it like $5,000. I sold it to her for 20 grand. The moment she bought it on payments for 3 years and put $3,000 down, she owned 50 grand. If she puts 20 grand in it, she could sell it for $100,000. Then I took some of that money and I bought a property that's worth $50,000 in Huntington County. I bought this shop that's worth almost $100,000 for $300 fucking dollars, cash, no bullshit, no liens, no mortgages, free and clear, $300, $50,000 shop. Five properties again. Oregon, Ohio, 3 properties in PA. Anybody want to buy a half acre in Jim Thorpe? I need 10 grand right quick. It's in the middle of the woods next to a nurture conservation. You can go off grid on that place. It's beautiful. 10 grand. I need money. It's worth 20. Ask me in the comments if you're serious. Now he's got the paperwork to all of them. I can't get in. The system has me kind of by the balls. Except for, he went to the same judge I went to when I put a restraining order on him. And you know what I told her? I told her that he was trying to legally evict me and I was afraid he was going to wake up one day and try to steal my shit and leave me on the street broken penniless. Now I'm in a busted up van, wearing clothes the police gave me. I had to just buy this phone for $120 because I don't have no phones. I will say this, though. The one phone I was using, he paid for the account. He had this deal where you get the, like 4 lines for $25 and he had one for me and my sister. He was paying for my phone. So, like, I'll give him credit where it's due. But, yeah, I had to go get clothes from Walmart out of the people rip the packages open section. Spent $73 at Walmart to survive. $120 to get this phone because I can't even make any phone calls without a phone. I got attorneys called now to be able to handle this. I can't get my bus out of storage because I don't have the keys. Except for there might be a set of keys still with the guy at storage because there was 2 sets of keys. I think he still has a set. I don't know how to pay him right now because I was paying him electronically. And all of his information is on my other phone. I'm about to try to get back into my Google and get all my contacts and everything back. And then I got to go through probably, it's been 3 days since I kicked out. You know what I accomplished? Getting clothes, getting beard clippers, and hanging my exhaust. Took me 3 days to accomplish that. I got to go back and I got to get all this shit together to make this happen. It has everything. Like absolutely everything. It's just all screwed up. And I don't know, I'm feeling a little sidetracked by goings on in the park. But basically what I was saying is, anyhow, distracted for a split second. So, that's my situation right now. So now I gotta wait almost a month to go to court on that. All I had to do was just leave. Now I don't have 1,000 square foot of roofing for my building. I don't have my welder. I don't have my boat motor. I don't have any of my car titles. I don't have any of my deeds. I don't have any. And then you know what's even more fucked up? This is the first year that I gotta file taxes because I made that much money. Every fucking receipt is in this guy's house. Every receipt. Oh, $800 cash. My Zelle app. For some nut-ass reason, I lost my debit card. I had to get my debit card replaced even. This whole shit's all screwed up, dude. All screwed up. And there was absolutely no reason for that shit. None at all. It's called an illegal eviction. That's how people play games now. That's what people do. Sometimes couples do this to each other a lot with the restraining order too. They all get mad over some dumb shit like uncooked dinner or not doing the dishes, and next thing you know, motherfuckers are telling the police that somebody else threatened to murder them just so they can get the system to roof somebody else. Like they're too pussy to do it themselves. Excuse my French, but that's what it is. So they play file a false police report, which by the way is a massive fucking felony, dickhead. That was to my father, not you. And people get in a lot of trouble for that shit. A lot of trouble. So now I got an attorney. And I've been so easy. I'm so serious. I've been like, God, help me keep my patience. Like, serious, I need Jesus to keep me calm. Like, I'm serious. I'm over here playing gospel music, trying to be calm as calm. And I forgave this guy, with God as my witness, 35 freaking times. And he just keeps going. No matter how many times you try to walk away, he tries to attack you and destroy you again. That's what he does. So now I had to file a stolen report on my vehicle on my own father to fucking survive. Because if I don't, this is all bullshit. Now I got to go find everybody that knows. I got to go pull all the records of where I hurt people because they threatened my child. And this sick motherfucker puts it. How sick is this, man? How sick is this? I'm not allowed to contact my dad. If he ever watches this video, you don't get to watch this and say I contacted you. You're creeping on me, weirdo. If he's watching this, I'm sorry. But then he had a neighbor. A neighbor was following me in a gray Mazda. Plate number Y1 something 9111. That's not the exact plate number. I have it written down over there. Was shouting at me going, fuck you, chase me by your dad's house. Violate the restraining order. That's called third-party contact, dummy. You and him can go to jail. That was last night. I flipped out on the dude. I flipped out on him. I'm not even gonna lie. I flipped out on him. I almost got myself in trouble again. But with God as my witness, I have never violently placed any hands on any one family member. Never. Or did any. Definitely not my child. And there's so many fucking people that heard about the shit that I went through and messed me with. Oh, he attacked somebody who was threatening his child. I have a recording of a neighbor yelling, I'm going to kill your daughter, out the window. Out the window. that shit they labeled your imagination and threw you to you for it. There's an audio, not a video file. It's actually the audio recorder app that did it. But there's like 9 20-minute videos, and I told them to just watch them, and you can hear people making the threats. Or listen to them, excuse me. Keep thinking like they're videos. But wouldn't do it. That's literally on there, audible. I'll fucking kill your daughter, from the neighbor. And then when I was shopping, fuck you, pussy, show yourself. Because he yelled it out the window. Yeah, you're out of my house. Then, like, I'm way up here, 30 minutes away. Look, I'm bothering nobody, dude. I'm chilling. I'm chilling, dude. We're chilling. We're chilling out here. It's about to be a holiday, dude. I feel like I'm disturbing other people's peace right now. Days when I would come all the way up here and hang out, and I would sit here for 10 or 12 hours. His neighbors would be calling him saying I was at home making a threat. I would leave this van parked and ride off on a bicycle or walk away for 12 to 16 hours. I would leave Philadelphia and go to Ohio. All these times, I don't know what is wrong with some of these people, but they're calling him saying I'm making threats. When I'm not even in the city. Like, I'm not even around. And he's saying I'm making threats. They were calling him and telling him that, supposedly. And then when I got all rough and unshaven looking, you guys watched me on my videos where I'm working on the bus. Look, I look pretty crappy when I don't get cleaned up. All kinds of other rumors I'm not even going to say that you can probably guess what they were trying to... Dude, I'll tell you right now. Pothead, drink a little bit of beer. That's the worst I've ever been. I don't even really smoke weed like that no more. But that's the worst I've ever been. Never fucked with pills. I never fucking liked hardcore drugs, and that's the fucking truth. I've tried a couple of things when I was in my teens. But a couple of beers and like some bud was about the worst I ever got. Can't even freaking I've had somebody be like, here, try one of these when I was a teenager. But, hey, I paid $30 for that one. Don't give it to me because I'll throw it up. And it's a waste of your money. I didn't have no fun either. Back in the day when I was a kid, they would fight like cats and dogs. They would fight and just continue to try to one-up each other and destroy each other back and forth till one of them was locked up in a bedroom, firing a gun into the fucking ceiling, pretending they killed themselves. There is some crazy family history going back. If I start telling the truth about him because he keeps lying to me, I'm going to feel like the biggest asshole ever. It's that bad that I don't even want to tell on him. But I'm upset. So if it slipped, it slipped. Oops. How do I forgive him without my stuff, man? Like, if I could just get my shit and drive away, I'd be like, I'm staying away from this dude. And then he's also walking around talking about everybody's going to leave me in the end anyway. I don't know what's going on, man. I worry about him. Still. Even though I'm really pissed off right now. I still love my dad. But I don't know if I can have anything to do with him. Anything to do with him at all. What I feel like I need is I need my real family and friends. Like my friends from Philly when I was growing up and a teenager that always had my back. That no matter what crazy shit went down on the block or whatever happened between, you know what I mean, somebody else, like they'd always be there for you. You know what I mean? Oh, they kicked you out of your house? No, it's cool, man. Come on in. Their mom's like, you're going to eat some cake whether you like it or not. Sit down. Have some milk. You know what I'm saying? These kind of friends. Where they're not blood at all. At all. But they've always been there for you more than blood. And I don't know. I mean, I got a sister that cares. She gave me a hug the other day. She walked up to me and gave me a hug. I know you've been going through some stuff. She gave me a big ass hug. Practically crying. My brother's been there for me, but at the same time, he like, I don't know about him. George, I don't know about you, man. Last time I told you this was going down, I was like, I think he's going to end up making me homeless and live in the van. He was like, oh, that's fucked up. So you could end up living in the van. Yo, growing up in Philly, that was considered shit talking and not serious. Yo, I got bad news for you. When somebody does that, do you know what they actually mean? Do you know what they're really thinking in their heart? Do you know what that actually means? Ha 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 ha, you're going to end up on the street. Ha 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 ha, it's all a big joke. It's not a joke. They're playing it off like a joke. Their true feeling is fuck you. Watch, I want to see it. And I'm calling you out on it, George. I'm calling you out on it. Get on here in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. I went to my brother's house. Both cars are there. They won't answer the door. I didn't have a phone to call people, though. Am I tripping? Maybe they will answer. I'm going to start calling some people. And to this day, I don't know where my kid is. I've seen her twice since she was 5 for a handful of seconds. I don't even know where the fuck she is. He gave me a phone number. I called it one day. And that was supposed to be her saying she was all right. And that was like right about when this actually happened. But I need to go verify she's all right. I gotta go verify and make sure she's actually all right. Because you can't get any information through people. Sometimes they're just running you around in a circle. And what it does is it ends up messing you up in the head. To where when you hear me, I'm gonna sound kind of screwed up. Because I am. This shit is really taking a toll on me. So now I gotta get an attorney and all this other stuff. But anyway, if I have to walk back to Ohio and start over, I will take free wooden things that are put in a pile that says free and take them in for 50 cents to $1 a piece till I have $1,000 or $2,000, and I'll buy another property and turn it into 20 or 40 grand again. Because that's what I do. Regardless of who he wants me to be, a loser in prison. When I was 17, I was going for ASC certification. You know what happened to that stuff? Got thrown away in an argument with family. I was talking about getting a CDL. Do you know what this diagnosis does to my CDL? I can't get a CDL no more. And I can't help but wonder, if somebody messed your life up that bad as a child, and they don't want to admit it, if you're a total screw up and they blame you, you not accomplishing shit can be their proof. If you accomplish stuff without them, do they start to feel like, uh-oh, now people know it was me, not him? I don't know, man. Makes me wonder. But that's it. Ran over. This is 39 minutes of this. I'm out. I can't do this. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry I ghosted everybody after I took my seats out in the bus. It's been almost 4 years. You missed a lot. You missed a lot. The thing has wood in it. It's got practically heated floors finished installed. It's got wood stove in it. It's got all kinds of cool stuff going on. There was 4, 5, 6 properties bought and sold. There's all kinds of logs on that. All that stuff is in the house. Almost 2-3 terabytes worth of videos that are all for this social media thing I'm doing, which, so it's just social media. Yeah, dude, it's my resume. I'm not an ASC certified mechanic, but these videos of doing this kind of stuff to your vehicles, it's your resume. It's also your description if you go to sell it. Like if I went to sell my bus, you wouldn't want to buy one that had 1,200 videos of the build so you know where every screw was put. It's like the difference between it being a 10 grand and a 30 grand thing. Or 30 grand and 60 grand thing. And then I got the shop going. This really, really, really fucks me up. And, you know, when you start overthinking these things, immediately you start to think it's all on purpose and it's some kind of setup, right? You're crazy, though. It's just some kind of setup. Shut up, conspiracy theorist. All right. Dump sawdust in your carpet, throws the dustpan and brush away. Won't even let you take one of my properties. The neighbors are trying to say they own it. I got to go to court. I have paperwork from a lawyer that explains what the problem is. Guess where the paperwork is? In the house. Guess what happens if I don't have the paperwork? I might lose the fucking property. Tax evasion's a fucking problem. How do you file taxes when your 3 freaking bags of receipts are in his house? Which I might be actually good, because I might have only made about 10 grand. I'm thinking if you made about 10 grand in an entire year on the side, you don't really got to worry about it that much. But once you get to over 10 grand or closer to 15, if you made it to 15, you better. Made a little 4 or 5 extra. Nobody really cares. But this year I'm right at about 10,000. If you know anything about taxes, do I got to file? I got to file, right? There's another thing. Help me in the comments here, please. And please forgive my attitude. This is not toward you guys. You guys are usually cool with me on my channel. You guys are usually helpful. You make suggestions. Positive comments. I mean, every once in a while somebody says something wild, but, you know. Trolls, shit talking, messing with people, giving people shit. That's life. That's the internet. Anyway. This goes down, and look who I'm telling. I'm telling you guys. Wild, right? I gotta go.